Hi there, it's Steph. Thanks for popping by my channel. Today I wanted to share with you 4 cars I've made using the Lawn Fawn Beep Boop birthday set. I've done 2 different designs but 4 different colors. I've used 2 of the robots, well there's only 2, so the 2 robots. One of them is holding a balloon and one of them is just happy and has his arms in the air. I don't have the dies that go with that stamp set, because if I was buying the dies of every stamp set, I could only buy half the stamp sets I have really. So I decided to fussy cut, and I've done that off camera because it would take too long to record and that would be a bit boring. So here you go. I've decided that I would go with 4 different colors. I've started to do a bit of shading of one of the robots. I've seen that on another crafter's video, and I thought that was really useful to know where to start with the shading when copy coloring, or any coloring I suppose, but I do copy coloring. So at the top left is the robot with the shading, the yellow, and there's grey, but you can't really see it that much. So for the purple robot, the sun is coming from the left, and I hope your screen is the same side than mine, so it's lighter on the left, and for the blue robot is the same thing actually. And I think I've done the shading for the 2 roundish robot as if it was coming from the right. So you will see that in a minute. I've sped up the coloring, and I've not shown you the colors because I don't have that many colors, and most people probably have more than me. And if you don't have more than me, you do like me, you just get on with what you have. And if the colors are a bit too far apart, you do a bit of tip-to-tip technique, coloring technique, so that it blends better. So here you go. A blue and yellow orangey robot and a purple and light purple robot. The stamp for the balloon is a full stamp. I'm not sure how you say that. It stamps a whole color, but there's no outline for it, and actually the outline would have been really practical in that case for me. So what I've done, I've just used a copying multiliner and drawn around it. Yes, I have decided to color the robot pink because I thought girls like robots as well, so why not? I bought that set because I thought of my son when I saw it, and I thought, oh, he would like to stamp with that. He's only 4, but before he decides to play with just the ink, he does generally try to stamp a few bits, and then it's just ink everywhere on his fingers, and that's quite funny for him. But so here you go. The robots are ready, so I'm doing my backgrounds. I've put all the little, I think it's gears that it's called, on my block, and I just stamped them in loads of different colors. I've used a mix of Altenew Crisps inks and Hero Art inks. Same thing, I haven't given you the color because I don't think it's particularly useful. We probably don't have the same colors in our stash, but you can see roughly it's blue and yellow for the second one. Yeah, blue and yellow, sorry, yeah. The third one is a bit more some sort of dark coral with some greens. And the last one is pink with a bit of green, if I remember well. When you do too many, you tend to forget. So that's my 4 backgrounds. Here you go. I realize that the more images you stamp on one piece, the prettier it looks. So I think it comes out quite well. Some of the robots are a bit dark, but it's a bit more, it pops a bit more when you see it in real than on the camera. So I've done my 4 robots. I've cut my card front, I'm cutting my card front, sorry, 10.5 by 14.8, which is my standard size. I'm sorry, it's a bit off on this image, so I sped it up a lot, but basically one front will be round, it will be a circle, and one front will be a rectangle. So I've cut out a circle, so I kept the negative as the card front, and I cut out a shape from my background, so a round and a rectangle. I've used a stitch die for the rectangle and a normal circle die for the circle. And what I've done is that I cut off a little bit of of white, so it looks like it's walking on the platform or rolling because they have little wheels. And this one is a stitch die. I've cut the front of the card on the front of an actual blank card. I wanted a card as flat as possible because I want to put it in the post, so I didn't want it to be too thick, because after they charge you extra if it's too thick and too heavy. But I send cards to France as well, so oh, here I just trim the edges a little bit because it's a bit off, and I just changed the blade on my trimmer, so it's actually okay, but just make sure your trimmer is really sharp when you do that, because if it's really small, it won't cut very well. So here the front of my card is ready. I'm going to trim a little bit of my platform for my little robot. And here I'm going to glue the background at the back, and I put the platform at the front, and my little platform is on the top of my background, so it pops out a tiny bit, but really a tiny bit, so you won't see it on the video, but you can see it when you see the card. It's not much, it's just to add a tiny bit of dimension, and that's good for me. Here you go. I do use that stick it double-sided tape, it's better for me. I think I would put glue everywhere if I used one of these glue roller things. So that's good for me, and then I can put the double-sided tape and put my paper in place and see if it fits or not. So that's the card front for the rectangle. So that's the negative of my die, which I put on the front of my blank card. Yes, I try not to waste any double-sided tape because that thing is not cheap. And it goes as far as I can make it go. So here I glue my card front. This one fits fine, so I don't need to trim it, and I just glue the inside rectangle. You can see the stitching around it, but it's quite nice. It adds a little something to it. There you go. So I place my robot. Yes, I'm happy with it. So then I needed to stamp my greetings. So I stamped these little bubbles. It's really nice. It's not obvious on the camera, but it's some sort of robot stitching around it. And I stamped it a few times because the first few times it wasn't quite neat. I'm stamping with some Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I stamped the little key for the robots, the ties, and the presents. I've sped up the coloring a lot because it would be a bit boring again, but I think you get the gist of it. It's the same colors on the robot pretty much, so it's all matching. And that's a lot of presents, and for some reason I was going by 3. So when I reach the last color, which is a red pinkish, I only do 3. And then I thought, oops, I forgot one. So here we go, the last one. So I first cut that off camera, obviously, and then I take my cards out. I keep them in little plastic sleeves so they don't get stains on them, because I have 2 children, so stains are everywhere. So I take my cards out and I put double-sided tape on the balloon, on the robot, and double-sided foam tape on the balloon and the bubble, because I want them to pop out a little bit. But as I said, not too much because it goes through the post. Here I've struggled a little bit with that bow because it's not, I don't know how to say that, but it's a full stamp again, so there's no outline, so I had to draw the outline with my pen, just so it would match the rest of the card. I glue the presents. So I'm only showing you 2 cards of each because otherwise that video would last forever. So that was a rectangle and that is a circle one. So here's my little robot. I glue the robot and the balloons. What I've done for the presents, not the balloons, sorry, the present, I glued the 2 presents at the back with double-sided tape and the one at the front with foam tape, so it pops up a little bit as well. That just adds a little bit of dimension. That's all I need. That and a little bit of classy accent, of course. And I add the tiny little kit on the robot's butt. And here you go. So I've done all 4 cards, they're all ready. I'm just adding some glossy accent here and there on the ears and the antenna and the presents. One of the presents, not all of them. And I've tried to put all 4 cards so you can see them all. And there you go. I've used my, I put a bit of a wink of Stella on that one because it's curly, so I thought let's put a little bit of glitter with the glossy accent, and I think it looks quite nice. I used my tweezers to just sharpen the edge a little bit because I couldn't find my fine tip for some reason, but I'm sure it's somewhere. And here's the last card. So I hope you liked it. I thought this set was really, really cute. And these are really simple cards, but I think little people will like it. So thank you very much for watching. If you like it, please leave a thumbs up. Any question in the comments, please go ahead, and thank you and have a great day. Bye.